This is AV SuperFriends On Topic, a 30-minute monthly roundtable focused on a single topic. This discussion will be opinionated, to the point, and saturated with our well-known blend of painfully won expertise and deeply ingrained immaturity. For January 2024, it's the best-sounding podcast in higher ed AV. This is the AV SuperFriends On Topic. Broadcasting live to tape from coast to coast, easternmost and westernmost, northernmost to southernmost, gate post to hitching post. I'm your local host who can boast the most milquetoast and utmost humility. I'm Chris Decter, and it's time for another Friday afternoon podcast adventure, but it's actually a Wednesday because we're cheating. And let's say hello to today's panel of illustrious AV Super Friends. I'm joined by a national resonance engineer from Corvallis, Oregon, Mark Kolowazinski.
You guys feel that resonance?
Is it resonating? A lead usability synergist from Greensboro, North Carolina, Larry Darling.
That's not a thing.
I hope it's not. I can't even say it. And my favorite title so far, a direct tactics vice president from Bowling Green, Kentucky, Justin Rexing.
Man, that made me sound important. I like that one. I'm going to put that on my next business card. You know, I got demoted last week, and here we are promoting me back. This roller coaster has been fun, but I'm glad to be back. Yeah, this is great. I made it back.
So on today's show, we're going to discuss our predictions for 2024. But first, how about our predictions from 2023? How did we do? So this is the third time we've done this show. We like to talk about what's coming up this year. But first, we want to go back and talk about how well did we do last year. No one really ever does this. They don't go back and give a scorecard for how well they did. So let's do that. Let's focus on 2023 and see what people said is going to happen in 2023 and how close we were, and then we'll come back and see what we've got coming up for 2024. So because it's at the top of my page, I'm going to start with Mark. From 2023, you said AV as a special or as a specific department, career, whatever you want to phrase it, I don't know, goes away and becomes simply part of IT. And you even used the phrase, the twilight of AV. The 2023 was going to be the start of the twilight of AV.
I think it is. Maybe it isn't.
I don't think you're wrong.
No.
Oh, you want a buzzer?
You want to make me go ahead, make it wrong, but then you'll all be wrong. But this is going to be one of those things that happens, right? We're all going to just wake up one day and be like, oh yeah.
Good AV is more than just IT. Like, I'll give you that AV and like a lot of institutions and things, it's just IT, but
there's a lot of overlap.
There is.
But it is a little different than most other IT departments that I know, that I work around.
But Justin, I unpacked the all-in-one camera codec microphone bar and I attached it to a consumer television. Thus,
great. That is IT.
Did AV.
You just did IT.
Did AV. No, AV.
You did. That's IT.
AV.
AV is a different approach.
All right.
AV is doing it with a ponytail.
Well, that's a whole different thing.
So if I was wearing all black, had a lanyard, 2 Sharpies, and a ponytail,
you could do the A. You could do the A. I would trust you to do the A, but don't go anywhere near that V.
All right.
Don't touch my pixels.
All A, no V for Chris.
You Sharpie, long-haired hippie, don't touch my pixels. Right?
All right. Like that. So it sounds like that one is still,
it's marinating. It's happening.
Partial
it's
credit,
happening.
But it's marinating. Okay. No more predictions.
I will give Mark
threads to marinate.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that Mark's right about in like 5 to 10 years.
It's
maybe.
A slow roll.
This 1 year thing, we got to narrow our predictions down a little bit.
He's not right, but he's also not wrong.
Well, it's going to happen eventually. It's just going to take a long time.
Let's check in really quick.
Long time.
How many big announcements have you seen about like baseband video switchers being announced this year?
Oh, Ross just announced a couple.
Say 7.5 is the answer.
How many things have you heard about AV over IP and endpoints and software-defined this and that?
4.5. So it's -3 on the spread.
As a replacement for baseband.
You're not wrong, Mark. That's clearly where things are moving.
Yeah.
But
there's still the analog space, like Larry said, that requires design elements and thought
It's
to process all of those analog waves in the air.
Goggles, Justin. Chris said so. It's a thing.
That's my prediction. All goggles. All right. Mark, you also predicted last year we will finally see a clear-cut AV over IP standard take the lead.
And we did.
We did?
Did we?
We did. Teams
No,
has come
you
in
shit
here
the bed
and
on
said
that.
you all
No,
suck.
that's not what you
You
meant.
shit the bed.
Change it up.
No,
So
it's in
Larry,
there.
bed, man.
during the show last year, Larry took he said,
took
literally,
the
I'm going
under,
to take the under on that. So Larry wins that one.
Yeah.
Let's see. Mark, you did point out that there might be a market share winner, not necessarily a clear-cut standard win. You know, Navy standard, Navy over IP standard won't necessarily emerge as much as there might be a market share winner. But there was clearly one that was out there but it was being driven by a company who opted to stop shipping things for 2 years.
Yeah.
So that's fallen apart.
The market share winner was the switch manufacturers.
Yes, very much
They are the
so.
ones that are
Hey.
winning this.
Yeah.
Cuts.
I was going to say, who is the lead AV over IP manufacturer right now? Like, do we even
There
know?
is one.
Netgear.
There's got to be one. Like, somebody's got to be the winner by
Well,
dollars, right?
In the gold
Or
rush, it
whatever.
was people who made picks and shovels that won, and therefore
Right.
Netgear is
Yeah.
winning this race.
right.
And it was the
Yeah.
Haas family who made blue jeans.
That's right.
Stole them from Levi Strauss. Took them, shoved them down.
Structured
the
cable
All right.
companies and switching manufacturers.
And to our last comment here about the AV versus AV and IT, and that's a multi-year kind of prediction. On last year's show, both Jamie and Larry said that if you're trying to identify a clear-cut standard for AV over IP, it's probably more likely over a 2 or possibly longer year time frame to see that emerge. So, I guess we'll play that one out. Mark, you also said that AR will beat VR to education, in the sense that AR will be more readily uptaked. Uptakeified. I'll give you at least 50% there. VR on the scale that people keep thinking it's going to happen is not happening. And right now, there's 3 people yelling at their car stereos like, "Well, we have a VR device."
I'm listening to your show. With
You
my
have
goggles
one
on right
room.
now.
Everyone has 1 or 2 little spaces in their program, and someone's going to say right now, well, our entire whatever program. Okay, that's fine. But you're not doing VR in every room like that creepy Facebook picture.
No, when they
I
led us
will
to believe that
say-
we'll have everything goggles, all students, all the time, and that's
All goggles, all
not
the time.
coming.
I will say in the past year, I have been exposed to more VR learning programs than I have AR learning programs.
sorry.
and software.
Those are just people who started working on them earlier, and they've just now come out, and they're behind the curve.
Possibly, but because I was on the same boat as Mark, that AR made more sense to me because everybody carries their own AR device with them all the time. But I have seen more innovative VR solutions recently than AR.
That's the whole AR XR thing. I think people are kind of generifying this down to that any type of experiential overlay of something, and we're doing more work in kind of the capture to then kind of create AR experiences in XR. There's a lot of cycles being spent in that right now, but I've yet to see kind of a VR classroom rollout at all.
That's not a thing.
And honestly, I think most people who keep bringing this up routinely are just looking for the next thing because they want to be out there with the next thing. It's like, what was it, 10 years ago, everyone was talking about 3D projection, and we didn't know it gave a crap. So,
You don't want that.
But we all installed those.
So, yeah, we all took the back out then too.
You still got
Mark, you also predicted something that it was
my
reference
prediction
based.
show. Jesus Christ, what's going on?
I'm going through everything from last year. You just rattled off a bunch last year.
Man,
I do have a note here that says we were talking about AV and IT, and you said that compute is an important distinction or important term because compute is a IT-ification of a term that just keeps happening.
I forgot to put a fire on the back end of that computer fire.
Compute's not a
And
word. Or compute.
we'll follow on. So
It's not
Larry
now.
predicted something about LMSs and whatnot, and then you kind of built on that. But we'll come back to that. All right. Let's see. Let's go to Larry's right now before I forget. So Larry said that Teams will replace Zoom as the Kleenex of unified communications. I'll give him like 50% credit on that.
I was going to say, I should get some credit. Most of us are in the process of switching.
Most of us.
There's a lot of
There are
energy
two.
being put forward on trying to.
I think Teams
Zoom.
versus Zoom as a term for generic is generic video conference collaboration software, whatever. I would say that hasn't happened and probably won't because Teams, the word Teams is too generic of a word.
Okay.
But Teams replacing Zoom as the de facto platform, if it hasn't started to happen on your campus, definitely the writing is on the wall. It's coming.
I disagree completely.
Okay, well, I would put that one down for your prediction for next year. Or for this year.
Well, because, I kind of did. It's in there.
Well, we'll get to it. So Larry also said last year that Teams will become the new LMS because Microsoft is building all sorts of additional features into Teams that will eventually set it up to replace a full LMS.
And oddly enough, in my last class that I took for my master's program, I had to use the Teams LMS.
The Microsoft LMS.
In part of the course.
Was the class called Teams as an LMS?
No, it was like emerging trends in technology or something, and they made you do that.
Just stuck in Microsoft everything, purgatory.
So I think maybe 50% credit, because you're not wrong. That's happening more and more. I mean, it's like the old nasty SharePoint thing that Microsoft had tying all the stuff together. It's still out there. And you can invariably start in one application and somehow inadvertently click into that and find yourself in that old SharePoint interface and not be able to get back to where you just were. Because that's the glue that ties all the Microsoft applications together. And Teams is kind of being built into that giant kind of Azure system as well. So
it's the human interface to that SharePoint ecosystem.
Back to Mark's predictions, because he said, as far as the LMS, he built on what Larry said last year. He said Larry predicted Teams would become the new LMS. Mark said, in general, he would predict more maturity in the collaborative aspects of LMSs, to the point where the prediction was a large LMS would purchase a collaborative software company. And I don't know if that happened.
Didn't happen. No. I think there's a lot of interest in integrating better into that LMS domain, so to speak. And I think everybody's got an integration, LTI integration at some level now that kind of comes in there. Others are better and some are not, and they're all kind of in the middle. But I don't know. I think that's mileage may vary, I guess. And more to
I don't think you're wrong. If we look longer term again, if we were to say 3 or 4 years down the road, 5 years down the road, will a Blackboard or Canvas or somebody have like a fully featured collaborative, plug-in solution, whatever? Probably.
Yeah.
And there's probably someone out there right now yelling that someone already has that and we're just not aware of it. That like, D2 Learn can do such and such. Okay, fine. I'm just not aware of it. So. I do want to get to Jamie real quick. Jamie's not able to join us today, but
so we can rip his.
Well, we can see how he did. Now, he did predict on his predictions. He said this.
I can safely say that I am 100% take it to Vegas correct on all of my predictions for this year. 99%.
74%.
Oh.
All right, so here were Jamie's predictions from last year. He said there would be real investments for training, real investments in training for digital learning in both faculty and students. I don't think we really.
I don't know how to measure that.
Real as in money being spent. I'm sure it happens somewhere.
I think that's what he meant. Was like more funding being put towards a more formalized, more holistic training into teaching and learning in digital environments.
Maybe the ones that were doing it are the ones that are doing it were already doing it. I feel like.
I think they're just waiting it out. They're just like, I'm doing this.
It's a fad.
Yeah. See, he also predicted that AI is scary, helpful, useless, but will also be taken seriously.
I don't even know how to break that down.
Yeah, it's kind of all over the place.
Like, sure, that's true and false. Go, Jamie.
Okay.
100%.
And then finally, his big bold prediction, which we are proving 100% correct right now, is that AVSF will be around a year from now to review these predictions, which we are doing right now.
Spot on.
So 1 out of 3 isn't bad.
That's true.
Yeah, 33%. That's what I got, I think.
I think I got president with those numbers.
I know.
Yeah.
All right, Justin, from 2023, or for 2023, in 2023, for 2023, you said, you will end up dealing with a consultant, doing lots of back and forth, and telling someone how to do my job for me, which is true, but that project started in 2022, so you cheated.
Maybe.
That's not cool.
I guess.
So, you also said Teams is coming on quicker than you think to replace Zoom, moving the purchase of Zoom to 2023, and we'll keep moving it to the next year until it happens. Are you saying
the prediction for Zoom buying? Yeah,
that Microsoft was going to buy Zoom.
No, I was thinking somebody was going to buy Zoom, which is going to cause a whole flip-flop, and then resurge Teams, and both were wrong. That was like one prediction where both were wrong.
Well, Microsoft is trying to spread Teams. I just don't know how much more they can spread it. Everybody's using it.
Yeah.
We're not using it in place of Zoom.
It's not a video conferencing platform. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying Teams in general.
Teams as the LMS.
Yes.
Teams as a CMS.
Yeah.
Teams as the thing that you will be using because your CIO said that's what you're using.
I mean, we're using it as a chat platform to replace Slack.
Hey, it's communications. It's
once you get started, though, it just
that's
keeps rolling.
Slope. That's how it gets.
But we have TD to do project management, and then we have Zoom to do Zoom rooms.
TD doesn't do project management.
Oh, we bought into it.
If you get the module, it does, or doesn't.
If you buy the module.
I have the module. It does not do project management.
According to our
sales rep,
WKU and sales reps, it does.
Team Dynamics sales rep, no, it doesn't.
I'm not disagreeing with you, Chris. It's just what we claim to use for project management.
Spreadsheets do it also.
Yeah, I mean, Excel.
So does a stack of Post-it notes and searching through emails. But I
chalkboard
do it.
Yeah, my whiteboard looks like it can get it done.
All right. Let's see. Rachel predicted last year, and she's also not able to join us, that the ability of AI to produce human-like content is going to provide for faster content production, but the end products will get worse before they get better. So I think that the AI will improve, and more people will use it more often. So you will see AI-generated content, video, audio, images, all that stuff more often. But it is, if you think about it explicitly, it's a lower quality than if someone had spent the time to make a dedicated. And I think she's 100% correct on that.
I agree. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a thing.
All right.
It's a fad.
Final predictions were from me last year, and I came up with something that didn't make any sense. But students will increasingly demand the college experience, and they will ask, why are we simply paying tuition for a Zoom call? There's been...
I guess.
I think that's true.
There's been noises about that, but I don't think it's a wide scale sort of thing. But
I don't think.
We've been pushing the in-person experience quite a bit, even through COVID. You know,
a lot of schools are, because they're paying for a huge amount of real estate.
Well, yeah, I think that's. I don't think it was students, though they are voting, but it's there's more.
Well, there are students raising those questions about, even if I'm paying tuition to take a hybrid class, I'm remote. Why am I also paying all the student fees for things that I'm not using, library, tech fee, all that stuff? And so there is a little bit of pushback there. So I'll give myself like 18% credit on that.
I do more than that.
I believe the spirit of it.
I said Teams has licensing inertia behind it. More people will use Teams because Teams is free until it is not. So
premium Teams.
Let's take a moment to reflect. I think we each made some type of blasphemous Teams prognostication here on our last year's version of this. So just that in itself should tell you something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Except for Justin.
I also predicted that AV Super Friends will do a live show from your office as you're listening while you're trying to work, and we did not do that.
Yes, we do. Are you talking about my office? It happened last week.
Whose office?
Yeah.
That we would go to a listener's office and do a show from their office while they were trying to work, unannounced and uninvited. So
we should.
We're not that organized.
Mark go to Don's office.
Yeah, almost happened. Almost.
We could all do that. We could all go to somebody else's office and do the show from someone else's office.
In March, we will do it live from some unsuspecting soul. We will do a live show.
Yeah.
We just have to find someone on our campus that listens to our show.
Yeah. If you're out there, let us know.
Let's see. Yeah. Mark also said that we, AV Super Friends, will be more interactive with you all. But I want to point out that he had to reinstall Twitter after 5 months, and then he retweeted the wrong post. So it was.
Hey, let's not talk about the specifics of this. Did I send it out or repost it? Yes, which is probably arguably like 100% more than I did the previous year. So
Correct.
I'm saying yes, we are spot on that.
A day and a half later, you retweeted the wrong post. So good job.
You're welcome.
Yes. All right. So that, I believe that is all of our predictions from 23. And now we can talk about our predictions for 24. So overall, are we giving ourselves like 50%? I mean, we were right-ish, I think, more than we were wrong.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we win. Let's just win this. Yeah.
I think so.
Let's not get into the minutia of the score. Nobody pays attention to the score of any games anyway. It's all about who won.
We had to carry Jamie's dead weight. But, if it wasn't for that, we'd be passing.
Good Lord.
Jamie's dead?
Hey, everybody. Chris here. This discussion went long, really long. In fact, this particular 30-minute roundtable is more like an hour. So we're going to cut it here and break this episode up into 2 parts. The second episode will be released just a few days after this one. Or, if you're listening to this in the future, it's the very next episode in your playlist. Thanks for putting up with yet another episode of AV SuperFriends On Topic. You can contact us with questions, topic ideas, or general complaints at avsuperfriends.com.
Nice work, everyone. Sharp broadcast. Really good. Everyone on the floor as well. Really a lot of hustle. I liked it.
The opinions expressed by the AV SuperFriends are solely those of the individuals and do not represent their respective institutions, organizations, companies, or clients. AV SuperFriends On Topic is an independent production wholly owned and operated by AV SuperFriends, LLC. For the highest quality recording of all of our shows, visit avsuperfriends.com.